Am I the idiot for getting another family kicked out at an amusement park? Please note, this story is a lot, and I truly feel bad. I am 23 years old, female, and was with my family for the day. My two sisters are aged 37 and 27, and they're kids. My niece is 11 years old, and my nephew is 5 years old. We were all standing in line for a ride. The wait in line was about a total of 45 minutes, so everything happened within this time, around 1 hour and 30 minutes. There was a group of 3 female adults and 6 children that looked to be between the ages of 10 and 15 behind us, 4 boys and 2 girls. This story follows mainly what happened to my older sister and me. We were all standing in line, minding our own business. While I was on the phone, we moved up in our line and had to go up a staircase. So, I hung up my call to focus on where I was going and to make sure I gave people space. Side note, I understand in a crowded line, space is kind of hard to give. However, showing respect for others is still needed, especially when asked. My niece, my nephew, and my middle sister were in front of me, while my older sister was off to the right of me on the stairs. My older sister and I both put 1 foot in front on the top stairs and 1 foot on the bottom for a more comfortable position on the stairs. I turned to look over at my sister, and that's when I first saw the discomfort on her face and instantly saw what was wrong. The kids behind us were sitting on the stairs, which wasn't the issue until I noticed that one of the boys was so close to my sister's bum, it looked inappropriate. I personally thought it was weird to sit so close, but thought maybe it was a poor choice of spot, but oh well. However, once the line moved and we were up a couple of steps again, the boy once again sat so close to my sister's bum. I kid you not, it looked as though she was giving birth to him. My older sister was very uncomfortable and voicing her feelings about it, not quietly either. Once we reached the top of the stairs, I felt someone touching my body. Not in an accidental kind of way, but like someone had grabbed me. It didn't happen once, but many times. I looked behind to only be met with dirty looks. My older sister and I tried to push forward or block, trying to not cause a scene and just give them space. But it seemed that no matter what we did, nothing worked. We continued to get bumped or pushed, and it was a lot to handle. We walked around a corner in the line and saw lots of space. I thought to myself, maybe we can separate and give a little space in the line without causing a scene. But that didn't work either. The group still pushed and touched. I was like, okay, this isn't cool. There was a last small set of stairs just before you get to the ride, and it was kind of narrow. I'm not the smallest person, and neither are my sisters, so instead of standing beside them on the stairs where there was no personal space to do that, I chose to stand behind my sister, sadly leaving a gap beside myself. 3 of the older kids decided to stand beside me and try to push past our group. At first, I didn't notice because I looked away. But I felt being touched again. So I looked to see these 3 older kids pushing past and into my 5-year-old nephew. So I finally said something. Hello? Sorry, but if there isn't enough space for me to stand comfortably with my group, then you shouldn't be pushing in. Please, can you give us some personal space and stand with your group? I tried my best to be nice about it, as they're just kids, and the parents can now hear the concern and should listen and respect our wishes. And that's what my family thought. But nope. The second we got to the top of the stairs, the adults had now decided to be ignorant. They turned their backs and pushed up against us. And I don't mean a little bump or anything, like pushing. My older sister waited for the group in front to move up, then turned and said something. Okay, look, my sister has said we would like personal space. We're uncomfortable with you guys just flinching and pushing us, so please back up. She put her arm out to show some space. Not a lot, as it's a line, and we understood that we can't ask for a lot. Finally, we thought we had space, and it would be good. Our group was next to get ready for the ride. It would be over, right? Nope. As they were helping the group in front of us, I felt something that instantly made me freeze and freak out. It wasn't a touch or a bump. My butt was grabbed, and not lightly, but roughly. I froze, and I didn't know what to do. But then it happened again, but harder this time. I was mortified, but I didn't care about a scene anymore. I just yelled, "Stop touching me, I'm uncomfortable." I didn't even realize that I yelled so loud everyone was looking at me. Both of the workers on the boarding side walked over to me and asked if I was okay, male and female. I briefly said that I was sorry and what had happened. The lady who was there asked if I wanted to call security. I said no, as I didn't want to go further as they were mainly children. Then I proceeded to explain that I'd like her if she could talk to the parents and explain why we were so upset, and that personal space when asked for should be respected to the best of their abilities, and if they can't, an apology would be very kindly appreciated. The worker agreed and said she totally understood. They then boarded my family, making sure it was just us and not them. And once again, I thanked them and apologized. Once the ride was done, I was pulled aside by another female who worked on the other side of exiting the ride. She then proceeded to tell me that she was sorry for this inconvenience. However, the park takes harassment seriously and had to call security. My middle sister took the kids down to meet up with our parents, while my older sister waited with me. All while this was happening, we were told the other family wouldn't be riding the ride as they were being ignorant to the employees. As well had the 4 younger boys refused to move from the loading area, thus holding the line up for 20 minutes. Let's just say there was a lot of repeating myself to many security guards. There were 4 security guards, 1 manager, the ride operator, and finally a police officer, all there talking between us and the group. Once they were done taking our statements and information and everything, the head security officer came over to discuss with us how we would like to proceed. They asked if we'd like to press charges, which both me and my sister said no to. They then proceeded to ask us if we wanted them to be removed from the park at that time, or if we were comfortable enough to have them stay within the grounds. I then turned to explain to the security guard, "Consequences have actions. Their consequence is they didn't get to ride this ride. As long as they understand now that if someone asks for personal space, they need to be more respectful towards that." The security guard agreed, and they let us go. About 10 minutes later, as we were near the front going to the gift shop, my stepmother noticed the group being escorted out with the same 4 security guards and the police officer. So am I the idiot? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. You were significantly calmer than most would have been. Once the park became officially involved, it was basically out of your hands except for the issue of pressing criminal charges. Sounds like they made a pretty aggressive scene of it after you got on the ride, too. I'm impressed with the way the park handled it. Not the idiot. Comment 2. Not the idiot at all. That group was acting like rancid assholes, presumably because they thought that just paying the admission price meant they could treat anyone there however they wanted. Comment 3. Not the idiot. They chose to walk that family out of the park. If they had just respected the staff and listened to security, they may not have been made to leave. Now, for the next story. I, 16-year-old female, was adopted when I was a baby. My biological mom was in her early 20s when she gave birth to me. I'm not sure exactly how old she was or how old she is now. She wasn't ready for a baby, so she gave me up for adoption. My adoptive parents don't know anything about my dad or anything more about my biological family. My parents told me a month ago that my biological mom reached out and asked if she could meet me. They said it's up to me and I can if I want. I decided to meet her just out of curiosity and because I wanted to know the details of why she gave me up, who my biological dad is, etc. She drove to our town and we went for coffee. She told me I can ask her what I want and she'll be honest. I asked her why she gave me up and she said she was young and thought she would be throwing her life away with a child. She went on to get married and be quite successful in her career. She's a scientist. I asked her why she decided to look for me, and she said she always wondered what I turned out like, and now that she's settled in her life, she would love for us to have a relationship, especially since she's struggled to conceive and she's come to terms with me being her only child. That hurt my feelings, to be honest. Like, she only remembers that she has a child now that she can't have anymore.
She probably wouldn't have even reached out if she didn't have trouble conceiving. She said she would like it if I could come over on breaks and stay with her and her husband.
I told her thanks for reaching out and answering my questions, but I'm not really interested in a relationship with her that she only wanted because she can't have more kids. I told her I get giving up a child when she was very young, and I genuinely don't blame her for it, but it's been 16 years. I don't need a relationship with her now, and I'm not really comfortable with it either. She looked really sad but said she understood. She went back to her city and has been texting me every so often, dropping hints that she wants me to come visit her. Yesterday, she sent me a picture of a room she decorated in pink. I don't even like pink, and said she's excited for when I come visit. Clearly, she hadn't gotten the hint, so I told her to please stop this and that I wasn't going to visit. I kind of feel bad and guilty somehow, but I really don't want to keep forcing myself to speak to this lady or go visit her. I don't want her to think I'm spiteful for her giving me up, but I just don't want a relationship with her and her husband. Am I the idiot? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Hon, I feel for you. I really do. I was adopted. I found out before my mother even mentioned it to me. Long story. Anywho, finally found by my birth mother, met up and met my father as well. It was crazy. This was 1999 and we are still in touch. We visit, but not super close. I'm glad I found her and the rest of my blood family, but essentially we are strangers. There is no history, memories of this woman from your childhood. I get where you are coming from. You might change your mind later, who knows? But she has no right to force a relationship with you. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Having a relationship with your biological mother is a big decision and not a thing you should feel manipulated or emotionally blackmailed into doing. Set it at your pace and your boundaries. Would you feel comfortable having your parents support you by gently reminding bio mom that you are not ready to have her more in your life and she needs to respect that? Comment 3. She said my bio dad passed away a few years ago, but they broke up a little while after I was given up for adoption. I don't feel like her love is unconditional, though. She had 16 years to reach out if she wanted to, and now she's doing it because she can't have other kids. This isn't really a love that I want because I feel like I was her last option. Now, for the next story. Little about us. We have been married for around 9 months, previously dated for around 1 year before marriage. My husband and I have a loving relationship. We are very similar and are each other's best friends. Here's the situation. My husband, 33 years old, and I, 29 years old, were coming back from an outing with family when I began telling him how attractive I find him. I began telling him how good his lovemaking skills are and how he pleases me every time. He enjoyed the compliment, and then I asked him if he feels like I please him. He tells me he pleases me, not the other way around. I was confused. He further explained that since he is a man, he does the action of pleasing. I told him I found that logic gross, and I began getting upset. He explained that if I were a man pleasing him, or if I was pegging him, then sure, he could say I was pleasing him. Since I am not, he says that I am receiving it, not giving it. I told him what about being on top, or in general being an active participant in bed? I explained his logic was downplaying the role I also played in the bedroom and how diminishing it is. I told him it's very weird male logic. He started getting upset, telling me I am twisting his words and cornering him into a weird thought process. He then tells me, yes, I am great in the bedroom and can perform well, but ultimately that I am not pleasing him. After a while of this circular argument, he started mocking me for what I was pointing out and said I can think whatever I want. I ended up walking away from the conversation. All of it felt gross and demeaning for me. I find sex to be something we share, not something someone takes or one party gives. His point of view and comments actually made me sad. We kind of became silent and he fell asleep. I couldn't sleep, so I went to the couch and slept. In the morning, he asks if I'm feeling better from a shoulder injury I've been having for days, and if I'm down to have sex. I wasn't feeling better, but I was also still upset. I told him, no, we are celibate. He got frustrated that I'm still upset with last night's conversation and said, "Watch what you say, your words can have an impact." I laughed in irony. He got annoyed and went to go play on his PC. For context, I am pretty sensitive about sex, and conversations like this are a sore spot for me. In my previous relationship, my ex-partner would not let me explore certain positions because of reasons like my thighs being big or my butt being big, and would often prefer me to stay in one position and not move. He would complain. I am turning him off if I got on top or wanted to be more active or dominant. So, Reddit, am I the idiot for being upset at his comments about our bedroom activities? Am I blowing it out of proportion? Note, please let me know if I need to clarify anything, as I am writing off my phone. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Sis. You're kinda being the idiot. First, I think with the context of the original conversation, I believe the mood was light, funny, and sensual. I believe he was trying to be funny in return. But with all that being said, men asterisk in general. Asterisk are literal thinkers. Technically, he is correct. He is the one who is penetrating you. So you could say in a literal sense, he's pleasing you. Where I think this conversation went wrong was you taking your past sexual trauma and superimposing it on your current relationship. Unless I misunderstood what you wrote, or you didn't include more conversational context, it sounds like he's happy with your sexual performance. Pro tip: marriage is a deep valley with ups and downs. I'm not minimizing your past experiences, but I will say pick and choose carefully your battles. Going to bed mad and then bringing it up again the next day for me is reserved for serious relationship violations. Now, if you want a little vindication, next time get him really hard and put him in the Amazon position, https://sexinfo101, compost8ions/Amazon/standing Amazon, and while you're there, lean in and give him a little light love choke. It will shut him up and show him who's the pleasing boss. Comment 2. I don't think this is ultimately that big of a deal. And although I agree with your perspective about sex, I am still leaning towards finding fault with you. When your husband said how he felt, that he pleases you and not the other way around, that was an opportunity to show some compassion, but instead it seemed like you got fixated on how you disagree. Disagreeing is totally fine, but I would advise everyone listens to and acknowledges their partner first before diving into why they disagree. In this context, maybe saying something like, I understand you feel it's your role to be the one to give pleasure and put in effort, and it's a role that you do well, or, some variant of, yes, you are manly. I think if you can connect with him on his level, then he'd be 100 times more open-minded to you saying that you also like to give pleasure and put in effort for his sole enjoyment in order to reciprocate what he does for you, notwithstanding the fact that he is the male half of the partnership. Comment 3. Not the idiot. I think it's pretty gross, he said. Watch what you say, your words can have impact. It sounds like some sort of a threat to me, a way to control how you talk. It sounds like you're trying to communicate how you feel, and all you can really do is try again and explain to him you do not want to be the only one getting pleased, that you guys are a team, and it is something you both do. You are not an object to be used. You are his wife, and he should come to an understanding with that and see where you're coming from. Communication is key here. Now, for the next story. Now, here are the comments. Well, actually, this post didn't have any comments. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day!